And we're live. Good evening, everyone. I'm here, got a special guest waiting. Going to bring him in a second to chat about Bukayo Saka, who's been called into the England squad. Hope you're all having a good evening. Hope everyone's well. I'm sure we're all excited for the Euros and Copa America. There's lots of good football coming on. The best bit is that we don't have to watch Arsenal because after the season we've had, do you know what? I've enjoyed the break. And at the moment, it's just all transfer rumours and everything. So it's nice to divert our attention elsewhere. But that doesn't mean that there's not Arsenal news. This is Arsenal Football Club, and there always is. But there's good news today, and that is that Bukayo Saka has made, I was about to say Gary Neville's, Gareth Southgate's final England squad for the Euros. Obviously, he first submitted a larger squad. I think 7 players had to be kicked out, and Saka managed to make the cut. I'm going to bring in the one and only. I wonder what team he supports.
Come on, all day, every day, man. What, has Saka got selected for Turkey, yeah?
Why have we invited you on to talk about this? I mean,
he's a Haaland boy. He's a Haaland boy, first and foremost.
That's true. That's true. You got to be happy for him, though.
Of course I am. Of course I am. Yeah. I'm happy, but at the same time, playing for England hasn't been the best platform in my life. A lot of players that have gone over to play for England come back with negative headlines, with their morale being hit, their confidence being low. So over the years, I tended to look at Arsenal players making the England squad, and I didn't care because I feel like they're essentially saved from the inevitable downfall, which, you know, England have become used to in international tournaments.
You've thrown us straight into a conversation that I definitely wanted to have today. Let's start with the negative while I just mute what's going on my iPad here to my right. Was there a little part of you that was hoping Saka would get the summer off? Let's just get that one perhaps negative twist on things out the way, because otherwise it's all positive as far as I'm concerned. But worth asking.
No, because I think that Saka's been selected not as an integral cog in the first 11. Therefore, I don't think the pressure's on him. I don't think that this tournament people are looking at Saka to be the difference. So I feel like he's going in a bit under the radar. A few people, well, a lot of us are surprised he was selected in the end because the rumors were that he wasn't going to be. So for me, in terms of experiencing that lifestyle, that atmosphere, that tournament, I think it'll be very good for Saka. And I think he'll enjoy it. I think even if we asked him, he would have wanted to go. But if he was to be, you know, a starting 11 player, if there was pressure on his shoulders, then I'd be like, I would have given him the summer off. But it doesn't work like that.
Yeah. I think you summed it up. Yeah, I think you summed it up perfectly. My kind of feelings on it are, I think if I knew he was going to play every game of the tournament, look, ultimately, as kind of a blanket statement, I want Bukayo Saka to play for England, and I want him to achieve everything he can in his career. If England win the Euros, which I don't think is completely out of the realms of possibility, you want Saka to be a part of that. Yeah. And I think that can only be a good thing. But I was looking at the season he's had, and just the amount of games he's played, I think he's looked tired recently. There was a little part of me wondering, actually, would he benefit from some time at home? But that's not, the thing is, he won't be thinking like that. This is just me worrying for no reason. He'll just be thinking he wants to be on the plane, he wants to be playing. So I'm super happy for him. That's the only kind of slight negative in terms of the call-up. Otherwise, I don't know if this is a negative or not, but I was actually surprised he made it. You know, when you were hearing about the amount of fullbacks who were going to make it, you know, we saw 4 right backs have made it into the England squad. When you look at kind of Lingard's form towards the end of the season, other players, I mean, I know he was never going to make it, but some people were saying Joe Willock with his late run. You know, there was a lot of competition outside of the ones who obviously made it into the group. Were you surprised Saka actually made the squad?
I was surprised. Reason being because England tend to play it safe when they select squads. They play it safe with their first 11s. And I thought bringing Saka and actually playing Saka would have been a risk worth taking. I think I look at international tournaments gone by for England, and it's very stiff. It's very safe is the word I keep on using. But it's the players that play well in the league and have a bit of experience. They tend to start international games. Whereas there's some youngsters in and around the squad, and there has been for the last maybe 2-3 tournaments. Take that risk, put them in. Let's be honest, you know, with or without that risk, the likelihood of England winning an international tournament is not high. So it's worth taking a risk. So for me, Saka, I had an argument in a WhatsApp group a few days before the first squad was announced, and a few days before this cut was made. And I would start Saka left back for England. And there was a lot of Man United fans in the group that said, look, Luke Shaw deserves it, this and that. So I asked them, who would be your back four for England? And they said, Luke Shaw, Harry Maguire, and so on. And remember, I told you, James, selecting 50% of a United defence that conceded above 40 goals doesn't seem like the wisest of things to do. Now, I know Shaw's had a good season, but Saka's relationship with Grealish is also evident. You can see it out there in the media. So if you had a Saka at left back and a Grealish in front of him who likes to cut in, Saka's got the energy to overlap. To me, on paper, that sounds something I would do. Take that risk, take that punt. But we know it's going to be safe, sure option. And aside from that left back position, England have an abundance of talent in them front three positions that it'd be hard to argue my case for Saka.
Yeah, and actually, like, it's such a fascinating conversation. James Little here says Saka is versatile, and I do think that's a big part of why he's made the squad. And I think when you look at a lot of the England players that are in there, there is versatility in a lot of these players. You know, whether you talk about, listen, I can't stand the fact that he's brought 4 right backs. But when you explain the fact that he's probably going to play a back 3, you think, okay, I can see how Kyle Walker and Reece James might be the right centre backs because they're so athletic. Trippier and Trent Alexander-Arnold have superb deliveries, so I can see why they would be the right wing backs. I almost think Bukayo Saka might have gone as a left wing back, and I actually, there's a little part of me that thinks he might play a little bit more than we think. The reason I say that, I think he's always looked good in that left wing back sort of role. I think he's very athletic. He can beat his man. He's got a great final delivery. I think he might even see Luke Shaw, and this is just kind of my one potential hot take ahead of the summer. He might see Luke Shaw as a left centre back. He's been very steady defensively. He's kind of, his positioning's decent. I think he's not easy to get around. He's brought Chilwell as well. He might start seeing some of those fullbacks as being able to do a role in a back 3. You know, and actually your wing backs are a little bit more progressive. They're your Saka, your Trents, who are a little bit more adventurous potentially. So that could be something he does. I don't know. I mean, look, as an England fan, I'm an England and Italy fan, as you'll all see next week. Mum's Italian. There's a little part of me that worries kind of from that perspective. I think he's going as a left wing back potentially. I think that's how he'll be playing. But you know, that's if he gets the game time at all. It is I
can see the chat kind of saying, what about Chilwell? What about Shaw? And they've had good seasons. Look, Chilwell just won the Champions League, you know? Yeah. And he's had a good season. It's just, for me, Chilwell or Shaw is the safe, easy option. Because Shaw's had a good season for United and Chilwell's had a good finish to the season with Chelsea, doesn't necessarily mean they're going to have a good tournament with England. England play a different style. They have a different manager. There's different assets in the side. There's different strengths and different weaknesses. And this is a problem that I find with England, that it's always, if you play well for your club, you're going to go straight in that position for your international team. Not much, you know, room for movement. It's very generic, stiff, and narrow-minded in a sense.
But that was my issue. That was my issue with Roy Hodgson at the 2014 World Cup. No, let me get this right. I think it was 2016 Euros. And I think the tournament before, that was it, 2014 World Cup. Now, the 2014 World Cup, Liverpool had just done really, really well. Okay, they finished second to City, that famous Gerrard slip, but they'd had a good season. And he saw a lot of those Liverpool players were getting in the team. Gerrard, Henderson, Sterling. I think Klein was in the squad, although I can't remember. You then move sort of 2 years on, and Spurs had done quite well under Poch. And suddenly they were all playing. Dele Alli was in the squad. Harry Kane was. I'm not saying they didn't deserve to be, but Eric Dyer was in midfield when I felt we had better options there. Yeah. And I do think there's this tendency with England to. I do think you've got to earn your place, but I think they go too far that way.
100%.
It's too much of, you earn it, you're playing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And there's two names in the chat that's literally a prime example. Sterling and Rashford have had poor seasons, but the likelihood that they start in the free behind the striker is high because of what they've done prior to this season, the potential that, we was meant to have seen. But at the end of the day, Pep Pep dropped Sterling for a lot of that final part of the season. Yes, he played him in the Champions League final. But for England, they'll be like, we rely upon him, he plays. It's not really based off form or confidence or morale. It's more so, like you said, once they're in, and it's hard to get them back out.
Yeah, agreed. Listen, guys, I just want to apologize. There's a serious lag on my end. I can hear you, Turkish. It's just more of a visual lag. So I'm going to try to get some comments up, but again, they're not. Yeah, there's a bit of a lag here. Anyway, one of the things I'm seeing here in the comments is a lot of sort of surprise that we're suggesting that Saka might play. Now, we did start the show by saying that he's probably going to be a squad player, a utility player, and that's probably why he went. So a lot of people might have missed that. But I am also not sure why people would think Saka isn't, or basically why people would think Saka's a dead cert to not play. I think the guy's had a tremendous season. I know he's tired out. I know he has. But he's played, 40 to 50 games this season. He's played as a left back, left wing back, left forward, right forward, number 10. He's played everywhere. He gets kicked to hell in every single game. He's by far been our best player this season, although obviously there's, others have done very well as well. Others not so well. Yeah. I just think I'm surprised that there's this kind of reluctance to accept that maybe Saka offers something that others in the squad don't. I think as a direct left-footed option, who's a serious threat in the final third on his left foot with his delivery, I don't think there's anyone else in the squad, is there?
No, his versatility is one thing, but his reliability is another. A lot of players can play in different positions, but even us Arsenal fans, James, over the last 2.5 years since he's come into, the Europa League team with Emery and whatnot, we've said he's a left winger. We've said he's a right winger. We've said he's a number 10. He's a left back. He's a left wing back. He's even played a bit more centrally in midfield towards the left-hand side. So everywhere he's played for us, albeit not the most amount of minutes under his belt yet, he's been reliable. I'm not saying he's been outstanding. I'm not saying he's got better stats than Tom, Dick, or Harry. What I am saying is he's reliable. And you need reliable players, And
I couldn't agree more.
He's worth taking a risk on, especially in that wing-back position, in my opinion.
Listen, I couldn't agree more. And, when you throw out the other options, Luke Shaw has been superb this season. Okay, we all agree he's been very good. But as you said, the Man United defence as a whole, not brilliant at all. They're far from it, actually.
They've conceded more than us and Liverpool. Yeah. With all the injuries and all the nonsense defenders we have, Man United have conceded more. Now, I'm not saying we're comparable to them, but what I am saying is surely there's an issue there. Look how upset we've been with our defence. Look at Liverpool, how they cried about their defence all season. Man United, pretty much a solid back four with a keeper the whole season, but they've conceded 40 plus. Why? You want 50% of that defence to come into England. Good luck. That's how I see it.
No, it is a fair point. And look, I like to say that I think more that's down to perhaps Ole Gunnar Solskjaer on the way he sets them up defensively. I don't think they're bad players, but you make a very good point. And while we were just talking about form going into tournaments, you do to a degree want defenders who are keeping clean sheets going, which is why I understand why Chilwell and Reece James are there. And apart from being very good players, they might well start the first few games. But, talking about sort of these other players who stand in front of Saka, because we're assuming he's playing as a left wing back, right? Well, Shaw has been excellent this season, but you look at the last, basically, how many years of a pretty average / bad Luke Shaw have we had before this good season?
Yeah.
So I would argue since Bukayo Saka's come into the Arsenal squad and played first team football, we've had a handful of bad / mediocre games. I honestly think he's very, very rarely that kind of the one standing out for, Saka was poor today. If ever, by the way.
Yeah.
It took Chilwell quite a while to settle into Chelsea. Started quite well. Then it was kind of up and down. We saw Emerson get some games. Alonso get some games. I'd argue the other two over the last 2 years. Well, no, okay, I'm not going to say it. I was going to say they've not been a consistent Saka, but I don't actually believe that. But I'm trying to build a case here for why not. Yeah.
At left back, Shaw has done more at left back, 100%. But what I'm saying is, listen, I'm not an England fan. I'm an Arsenal fan. So if you want my perspective on Saka, I wouldn't want him to play because England in tournaments, they don't live up to expectations. So I wouldn't want Saka to be a part of that first 11. That's me as an Arsenal fan.
Yeah.
Talking about England, there's no bias there. I look outside looking in at England and I say, you don't take enough risks. Now, Shaw is more experienced in that position. But at the end of the day, England always play experience in tournaments, dating back to the Lampards, the Gerrards, the Rios, and so on. How many international tournaments have England won? Germany have managed to add youth into some of their international tournaments. It's paid dividends. France have done it. It's paid dividends. But you mention it with England, it's nonsense. And that's why, for me, it's more beneficial Saka doesn't get pressure put on his shoulders and he's not in the first 11 as an Arsenal fan. But as an England fan, I'd like some more risks taken with the team.
Do you know what? That is such a good way of putting it, actually, when you mention experience and you mention sort of what other nations have done and just sort of embracing the talent they've got. I do think that is something we struggle to do. Yeah. But let's not, I'm just delighted Saka's going. I'm so happy he's going. I don't think he'll be a starter. And to all the people saying, "What's this?" Hatred towards Luke Shaw. It's not. We're just trying to build a case for a player we love playing for England. Luke Shaw's had a tremendous season, and he probably does deserve to start for England. But I do understand, and I agree that I think there's an argument where if he's going to play a back three or a back five, whatever you want to call it, with wing backs, I understand why Saka suddenly potentially becomes the most attractive option in that situation.
Yeah.
But obviously, this kind of leads into an interesting discussion about the summer for Arsenal. There's obviously the players are on international duty. We're back in pre-season on, I think, the 13th of July. We've got the friendly against Hibs and then Rangers. And then there's the transfer window. We are on the brink of, supposedly, we're very close to signing Andre Onana from Ajax. I want to get your thoughts on that in a sec. And then we're going to look at the 6 players who are away on international duty. Slightly worrying that it's only 6, but at the same time, I'm kind of happy it's only 6. So that's a weird one. So let's touch on the summer and what the next month kind of looks like for you from an Arsenal perspective.
Business, but it won't happen. Listen, the summer has started well in terms of rumors of outgoings. I'll give it that. But we've yet to see any actually step out the door. So the rumors that Willian might be out, Xhaka might be out, Bellerin might be out. I've been waiting years. With Willian, it's been 1 year, but it feels like I've been waiting years already with Willian. So it's good with those names. They're being linked with moves away for once, proactively as well. It's not like we're trying to, drag them over the line. It looks like they're ready to go. It looks like we're ready to move on from them. So that has been positive. But it needs to start showing something. It needs to happen now. It's all good and well being linked and rumors and whatnot. But at the end of the day, Liverpool have signed a centre-back. United are back in talks with one of the best, young wingers in world football, Chelsea. It pops up the other day, Lukaku or Haaland, interested. At the end of the day, yes, those teams are well above us in terms of ambition, league position, tournaments, and so on. But they're doing business. And if we just sit around, even in the first week, the first 2 weeks, we will fall behind again. We're not only going to fall behind on the teams of the 2021 season, we're going to fall behind what they do this summer as well. So I just need to see action. In, out, shake it all about, all of that, James. I need to see all of that from the board this summer.
Would you say it's sounding like at the risk of sounding like ever the optimist as I always do, but worth asking the question. Would this be a decent start to get Andre Onana in? They're talking something like, obviously he's got the hearing about his ban, but they're talking whatever the figure is, it's likely to be under 10 million. This guy was really highly rated kind of before. Obviously he had to sort of step away from football a bit. I tweeted something earlier where I said, the thing I like about the Onana signing is that it looks like the kind of signing we're making because we want to make it, not because we need to make it.
Yeah.
And I don't know if he's a better goalkeeper than Bernd Leno. I really have no idea. But I quite like and I quite back the idea of signing him because you've basically got Arteta saying, Leno is good, but this guy's better. And I actually I like that. That feels like a different approach, and it feels like outsmarting the market. And the guy's got 12 months left on his contract. He's not going to play because of the situation he's in. It's a chance to get him for maybe, I don't know, 20% of what he's worth.
Yeah. Listen, at the end of the day, I've heard good things about him. We need a keeper, and we're in a position now where we don't just need a backup keeper. We need a keeper that's going to push Leno and potentially oust Leno as a number one. That's how I see it. I don't know, James, has Matt Ryan signed a contract? Because people were messaging me that he's close to signing a contract, but
it's not yet. I think he's hopeful. It's hopeful that he will, but not
Ryan's
yet.
out of here. Let's be honest. His contract has been up. His contract's been up. He's played for us. If we was going to sign him, surely it would have been done in the last. We can talk to him about contracts the whole 6 months. So for me, being interested in this Ajax keeper, I think Matt Ryan won't be the one we go with. And in that case, I'm happier because we won't be lumped with 3 keepers and then Runnison as well. And for me, I just want a number 1 and a number 2 good enough that he might be able to push Leno out of his position or onto better things. So I'm happy with the link.
See, my prediction is that Leno goes. I think Leno goes, Onana comes and plays as number 1, and Ryan will actually come in eventually. I don't know. Arsenal seem to notoriously take long with deals that should be quick. You look at what Liverpool did with Konate, and I'm thinking, how have you guys wrapped this up so quickly, but it's taken us so long to do anything? So, frustrating.
Sorry, just to bring it back to the England, because I see someone said, what's this idiot talking about? England have a lot of creativity and youth. He's picked 17-year-old Bellingham, for fuck's sake. Well, what happened when England picked 17-year-old Theo Walcott? Okay. Did that do Theo Walcott any good? Did it do England any good? Did it do Arsenal any good? Come on. I talk from experience, not just like off the top of my head. But sorry, James, as you are.
Mate, no, fair enough. Look, I think it's not. This is. Don't mistake picking a squad for, and this is, by the way, this isn't just England chat. This is now for all nations. We've got the Euros coming up, the Copa America, everything. Don't mistake picking a squad for picking an 11. Yeah. And I know that sounds like such an obvious thing to say, but I saw a lot of people saying, the England squad looks really good. And I'm like, but I knew it was going to be really good. Yeah. I knew it. I mean, you'd have to be a complete idiot for that squad not to look good. My worry was never how good the squad would look. My worry was always what the starting 11 would look. Yeah. So that's kind of where, I'll be honest, he's not had his best of seasons. And I know there's a bit of past that didn't go Southgate's way and stuff with James Maddison or whatever it is. But I'd have loved James Maddison to have been in the squad. Why not? He's so talented. Why not have our most talented players there? So it's just little things like that I don't think you need Henderson, Rice, and Phillips. Personally, I don't think you need all 3 of them. But anyway, it's interesting.
I agree with that, and that's what worries me again with England: the 4 right backs, the 3 defensive-minded central players. It worries me a bit because as much as you pick Bellingham, like you said, that's the squad. The likelihood of us seeing Henderson and Rice and Phillips over Bellingham is high. So I don't really care about who's in the squad. It's about the first 11. It's about the balance, the risk, and all of that. So, yeah.
Aaron says he was also vital in Ajax's journey to the UEFA Champions League semi-final. So he's talking about Onana here. So this all brings us nicely back to the summer. Okay, so it looks like we're maybe doing something quite quickly in the summer transfer window, which, great. That's what we want to see. I'm going to put something out there now. I think Arsenal should have 3 players signed by the time the Euros ends. And I think that's being generous. I think that's being kind to them.
Yeah.
Because I'm talking, even if Matt Ryan, I know Ryan Bertrand's probably off to Leicester, but Matt Ryan, Ryan Bertrand, your 2 backups are in, and Buendia, who should, touch wood, and all respect to Norwich fans, should be an easy deal to do because they've been quite upfront about what they want, and it's not unreasonable. What could be holding that up? Ancelotti's gone back to Real Madrid. Actually, I want to ask you about that in a minute. So we pretty much know Odegaard's going to stay. He likes his number 10s and all that. I just think these deals should be done by the time the Euros is over, and I really think I'm being kind when I say that.
Listen, you know me. If you ask me how much movement we need this summer, I say 6-7 out, 6-7 in. And in order for that to happen, at least 3 of them need to happen by the end of the Euros to focus on 3 or 4 more for the next 4 weeks before the season starts. So I think it's fair. I think, we're going to be let down in that sense, but I still think we should keep the bar high in terms of what we expect, what needs to be done. We can't be lowering it for them for what we know they will do. We need to just maintain what we expect and hope that they finally listen and do. But
what do you think they'll do? So end of the Euros. So some dates for everyone. I think July 11th is the final of the Euros.
Yeah.
Chance of Arsenal having a player in the finals unlikely, but there'll probably be 1 or 2 players who've got to the semis or the quarters or whatever. Actually, no, well, maybe. Anyway, our pre-season starts the 13th. So obviously he's going to take the initial group. Those who've had the summer off, they're going to go to Scotland, and I'm sure there's going to be other, maybe sort of more local tours. I say local, but maybe not going to the US or whatever. And they'll have a bit of pre-season. He's going to want quite a bit in place by the time that pre-season comes. Arteta's been very vocal about how much he feels he's suffered and the team has suffered from a lack of pre-season. Okay, but then do yourself a favor and have everything you want ready by the time that comes around. What do you? I know you're not always the most optimistic when it comes to the people upstairs doing their jobs properly. But what do you honestly think we'll have by the time that comes around?
I'm glad you mentioned that, because when we talk about owners, everyone tends to say, "Oh, but you spend money. Oh, but you bought this player." And listen, ownership is not just about spending money. It's about how you spend it. It's about when you spend it. And I'm going to stick on the when now and use Thomas Partey as an example. Thomas Partey had a release clause. He had a release clause, which means if you pay it, you don't need to speak to Atletico Madrid. Now, if you need a player of that ilk, if you know he's interested, you should secure that player and give the manager enough time with that player during pre-season to embed into the squad, implement his tactics, get familiar with the surroundings, the area, all of that. Yeah. But we didn't. We waited till the last day. Partey already played a couple of games for Atletico. He might thank Arsenal for it because he gets a La Liga winners medal. But he comes into the season inconsistent, injury prone, and he just hasn't hit the ground running. Now, I don't blame that all on when the board do it and how they've done it. But I can look at that and say, you didn't exactly give Arteta the best platform, Partey the best platform, and the squad the best platform. So business, proactive, needs to be done. So if you want and identify an area of the squad we need to improve in, I'm not naive enough to think we're going to get our plan A's in every position. But if there's no chance of the plan A, move swiftly to the plan B. And plan B can't be a completely different type of player, like Aouar to Partey. Fans have got to be aware of these things. We wanted Aouar, creative outlet in the middle. We wanted Partey, a bit more rough, a bit more box-to-box, a bit more experienced. We went with Partey, and everyone forgot about Aouar. We needed both.
Yeah, we did.
So as much as spending money is one facet of good ownership, another facet is how shrewd you are, when you do it, how proactive you are, and how much due diligence you do into these deals. So that's what I want to see as well. Not just spending money left, right, and center, because that can do us for another 5 years if we do it wrong. Do it properly. Like, get it done properly. Be shrewd. These men are paid the money to do it. Don't ask me who we should buy. I can give my opinions. James, you can give your opinions. But they should know better. They have all the technology, all the resources. So as much as us fans can request a player and hope for the best in transfer windows, they have everything needed to get shit done.
Yeah. I completely and utterly agree with you. Guys, again, sorry about the lag, but we are trying to get through these super chats if we can, and we're going to round off the show soon. It's been one of those days, Turkish. Lubert says, Arteta should go to Everton now as Ancelotti has left them, and we need a Conte or a rough and go hard manager as some of our players are soft. I would take Conte in a heartbeat. I think he's a world-class manager. But it does kind of sort of open the discussion for... I'm going to try really hard, you're going to see here, to kind of blend two discussions into one here. The first is obviously what's going on with Everton and Ancelotti. Spurs haven't found a manager yet. Big questions over. Obviously, Oli, we know is going to stay, but there's kind of a bit of unsurety is not a word, but I'm going to use it. No one's really sure what you're going to get out of United next season. I think it's fair to say, especially after that Europa League final. Away from that, we've got a few players on international duty, not many, but Tierney, Saka, some important ones. We've then got Bernd Leno, who's away with Germany, and there's every chance they go to the final and win this thing. And then you've got Gabriel Martinelli and Gabriel, our centre-back, who are playing for Brazil at the Olympics. So there's kind of an opportunity here with kind of what's going on around us to maybe just make a fast start and, almost be a bit more refreshed when these players come back. It means doing the business quick, but let's just kind of round off on that. What are you kind of hoping for these players, and what's the start of the season looking like for you? I know it's a long way away, but these little things, I always feel are little openings, the little advantages that you've got to take, and we never seem to take them as a club.
Yeah, you know what it is? I want to be excited, which is funny to say because they told us be excited 2 years ago, but I want to be excited because they've done some good business in the summer. I don't want to be doing maths at the end of the summer to work out good business like I believe a lot of fans did last summer. It's all good and well after Thomas Partey singing, dancing and acting like we've had a great window. But in reality, you look at the whole window, we didn't. Let's not fool ourselves. So for me, I want to be in a position where a week before the season starts, the first game of the season, we are pretty much there or thereabouts in terms of the business that we needed to get done. Now, in terms of me being excited, that's not me being excited for a potential top 4 challenge or a turnaround in a season. I just want to be excited at the right direction for once. And the summer is the only way I, myself, can be excited with this club, because the summer determines whether I'm hopeful for the new season or whether I'm dismissing it before it even starts. And that determines my mood for the season, because I'm not going to celebrate a fucking win against Brentford in November when I know that in May, we're not going to be anywhere there or thereabouts in terms of what we need to do. A lot of fans turn to me and say, we won, it's 3 points, celebrate. But if I know, and I've seen this before, that celebrating these small wins doesn't mean nothing at the end, then how many times am I going to fool myself to think it really matters? I've learned my lesson in that sense. So I want to be excited where these games in November, they actually mean something again, where if we win, I'm like, we can achieve something this season. We win in December. We can do something. Far too often over the last few seasons, no wins fuel my excitement because I know what's to come. So hopefully the unknown comes this coming season.
You know what's crazy, right? And cue the comment section laughing at me here. Even if you go back to the 16-17 season, the year we dropped out the top 4 for the first time under Arsene Wenger, even that season, we had a better start to the season than Chelsea. By the start, I'm talking first 10, 12 games maybe. I think we weren't far off City. We had a better start than most. And we were in the title race. Now, I know kind of the way to really judge who's in a title race is when you get to February. Who's in it? Who's up there? Who's in the top 2, top 3, putting pressure on? But, it's always, we used to have seasons where we said, right, November, this is our tricky month. Let's get through it. But we've had a really good half of August, September and October.
Yeah.
We've even fallen so far away from that. We don't even fall out of title races anymore because we were never in them. So I do think, to round it up, and we'll get your final thoughts, is I think this is a massive summer. I don't think we're going to be hampered massively by internationals. Obviously, we know the players that are away, but I don't think it should have a massive effect. And I think it's going to be good for your Martinellis and your Gabriels to be playing at the Olympics, get away, play for a different team as well. I think actually it could be good, but there's just big business to be done. When do the Premier League fixtures come out? Do you know?
No, I don't. Usually it's June sometime, but I'm not sure.
It's early, isn't it? It's very early. They tell you like in no time. I don't know why. I mean, I suppose
in advance. 6 weeks in advance normally. So midway through June, maybe.
Yeah. Well, look, we're going to round it off there. But anyway, any final thoughts on sort of Saka and his big day? It is a big day for him. It's a massive day, and I'm super happy for him.
Yeah. No, well done to him, man. Well done to him. My final thoughts would be that if we want to continue enjoying Saka in 3 years, in 4 years, in 6 years' time, then let's not, take our focus off the true problems at the club, which is the Kroenkes. As much as we sit here and we discuss potential incomings and outgoings at Arsenal Football Club, don't ever get it twisted. I haven't forgot about the main root of evil at this club. It's just that, as you can see, he's embroiled and we're embroiled as a club in a battle between Ek and Kroenke at the moment. All we can do is remain focused, not lose sight. Yes, we can talk about sales. Yes, we can talk about players coming in. But in all reality, this club won't go anywhere with this owner in charge. So that's my final thoughts.
I think that the bit you touched on there, because I agree with all that, the bit you touched on that really rings true to me is, do we want to be enjoying Bukayo Saka in 6 years' time? And there's two major threats to that. A, we're not good enough and he leaves. B, he falls away like a lot of youngsters do because we've not given him the help he needs. It's, hey, Bukayo, please get us out of trouble. Please get us out of trouble. And when he stops delivering that, which sometimes he will, suddenly he's not seen in the same way. His confidence goes down. He doesn't play as well. So, yeah, I think you're spot on there. We need to build a team to help these guys out. And look, hopefully Smith Rowe will be in it one day. You know, why not? Absolutely, why not? So, look, it's been good chatting. A bit of a spontaneous one, but obviously the news that came out today that Saka has made the 26-man squad was absolutely essential to talk about. And I think maybe give some of those English Arsenal fans a little bit more to kind of cheer about, just because, I don't know, when was it? The last World Cup, we had just Danny Welbeck there. And listen, I love Danny Welbeck, but he wasn't even a starter for us, really. So it was just hard to kind of get into it as much. And I do feel a connection when it's some of the Arsenal players there, weirdly. I don't know what that is. Maybe it's just my love for Arsenal.
No, but, it's true, though. That is what it is. Even when they're playing for other international teams and you're watching it, you want that player to do well, you know? So it is what it is. Good luck to Saka. You know, if he is given some responsibility out there, I'm pretty sure that I know him enough to know that he will be reliable. So let's hope that he does get something.
I agree. And Saka, you know, I don't know if he watches AFTV, but, you know, if you get those opportunities, you know, Saka should be going with the mentality of, I want to start because he's good enough. And I know we've been having this debate about Chilwell and Shaw, or if he's going to start in the front three or whatever. I think he's good enough. So I'm sure you don't get to the level he's got to and have the season he's had if you don't have the highest of standards for yourselves. I mean, not long ago, there was a £72 million winger standing in his way on the right, and he managed to break that. So, yeah, I hope he's going there to claim a starting spot. I'm sure he is. I know this is the longest roundup of all time, but Andy Arsenal has just jumped in with a fairly interesting super chat. Do you guys think the Daniel Ek bid is a ploy to calm Arsenal fans' anger? Let's just get a quick reaction, Turkish.
So I assume he means that maybe it's some sort of a deal between Kroenke and Ek, and
like an inside job.
Yeah, listen, for once, I'm not going to be very pessimistic about this particular bid because I actually think Daniel Ek is serious about it. I don't know if he's the right man to own Arsenal Football Club, but he is serious about wanting to buy it. So I wouldn't say it's a ploy to calm Arsenal fans, because if it was, they would have done it in a better way. We obviously heard a couple of weeks ago that Kroenke told Ek that he doesn't need the money. If it was a ploy, that's not the sort of response we'd be hearing. So for me, it is very serious. I
think it's serious too. Yeah, I'm pretty confident it is. Reece says 16th of June is the day that the Premier League fixtures get announced. So yeah,
let's see. Midway.
I'll go double check that. But that'll be interesting. I'm sure we'll be looking for all the big games in that calendar. Turkish, thank you so much for joining me. Who are you supporting at the Euros, mate?
Italy, mate.
Hey, join the team.
Come on, Turkey all the way, man. You already know what it is. Ireland didn't make it this time, but, you know, Turkey will have to, you know, fly the flag for Turkish on AFTV. But it's what it is. Love for the love in the chat, people. Love for the love. As always, appreciate all the engagement you guys, you know, give us, the questions that come in. It helps the show go along a lot smoother. So as always, love for the love, people. Yeah, absolutely echo that. Right. Thanks for joining me, Turkish. I'm going to see you soon in the office. We've got a bunch of quite exciting sort of new live stuff coming this week. Keep an eye on that for Thursday. And then obviously Robbie's back with his Transfer Daily and his what do you call it? His classic intro that he just does for every show. People are loving it in the comments already. So guys, go check that out because it's just going to be mad transfer rumors every day. And Jesse's really trying to get this super chat in there about champions of Europe. Mate, I can't count the amount of league titles we've got on both hands, but you can. Yeah. So as much as you've got 2 Champions Leagues, I've run out of fingers to count the amount of league titles Arsenal have got. So take it easy over there, yeah?
Good work. Good work. Let's end on that. Guys, thanks for joining, and we'll catch you next time.
Love, love, love.
And we're having problems.
We're still here. Come on.